Let's get into it. And I'm happy to be here. So this is question, and I'm going to be addressing today. Let's discuss one of the most important subjects in life, and this is the subject of purpose. And it will amaze you that so many confusion are surrounded, and in a millions way that people have expressed different, idea about this subject. And perhaps today I want to do something and approach this subject in a new light. There's no how we can put up the subject of purpose that one will not need to get the understanding right. And that is why, because the entire life on its own is all about what and why we're here. Listen to me. Success begins in life when, as a stakeholder in the enterprise of life, we are able to take responsibility for our own life. We are able to see where the link is, and we're able to see what significant role we need to play and commit to. And when we begin to think from our mind and those thoughts of what is it that I am here for, and when you look at life as a garden that you are being called to tend, then you will know that nobody is here on the front of you to just do whatever he or she thinks or that. So when you come out of that thinking that you're just here on your own knowledge, that thinking will produce a shift that will bring about an overcoming mentality that will help you. All over the ages, success has come to men and women who decide to pay the price of commitment and to refuse to allow themselves to be distracted away from the focus that will bring about the fruitful life they have desired. And failure, on the other side, has always been with people who always look for who and what to blame for their predicament in life. I hope that is not you. And you will not look for how to find excuses about what you are going through. And talking about finding excuses, let me share with you my story. I was a church girl, and all throughout my growing up years, I was so spiritual. And you can tell me as a spiritual girl. And up to almost 44 decades of my life, I did not realize the difference between personal development and spiritual development. And because I could not make a difference between these two, I became someone that fell under the, purple of religion, and I started playing church. I started using those rituals of prayers, fellowship, going on outreaches and doing those things, fasting, and you can name them, to be the comfort and the comfort that makes me feel I am doing everything I needed to do in life. But I noticed there's something wrong about my life. I look at some people that were together going to school, they were not failing. And I saw myself for almost 6 years, I was failing constantly in just to be able to put up an entrance exam that will afford me the opportunity to go into the university. And let me now tell you what happened. I find the greatest shock of my life. And that was the truth that there's a whole lot of difference between spiritual development and personal development. And as good as you are a spiritual being, you come from a spiritual being and you know your source, but those things will never answer for some other things in life. That you will never expect God to come and do for you what He has created and given you capacity to do. And that is how mankind is evolved. And that is what I want to share with you today. That I remember that when I started discovering why am I like this, I discovered I was broke. That's why the fact that I speak in tongues, that's why the fact that I go to church, I attend all the fellowships. I now began to see the difference between these three types of work, which is the spiritual work, the physical work, and the mental work. I found myself doing more of the first one and the last one. Do you know the physical work? Going out there, carrying here, rubbing, creating exercise, going out to give myself out. But in the spiritual sense, I was also doing that, fasting, praying, going on church, and doing everything. As good as those things were, they were not sufficient enough to be able to deliver me from that mentality, because I was not strong in my capacity development that has to do with my mental work. So I was lazy in my mental ability to be able to comport and to know what is the purpose of my life and why do I exist. And friends, let me tell you, as we go through this course, one of the most important things I want to get out of everybody that is in doubt or in anything is to make you see why you have to develop your garden. That you, as human, there's something that God did when He was going to form you. There is a software that was downloaded inside you. That software contains everything that will mean for your fulfillment. Because as it were today, a lot of people are living a life of achievement without fulfillment. And the only way, the only source to true fulfillment in life is when you begin to understand the meaning of why you are here. And when you locate that meaning, and that meaning is different from every one of us. And I remember when I always look for this small video that let me ask you even, how many of you want to make it in life? Do you desire to make it big in life? Do you want to see your effort germinating into a great deal? I know you will say, you will raise up your hand. And that is where the question comes in. What is it in your life? What does it stand for? That is why we want to start with this subject of purpose. What is the purpose of your life? Because if you don't know, you will not be able to answer that it. What is that it that you want? Perhaps you may have asked yourself many times, why am I here? Why are you here? Why am I supposed to be doing here? And you can ask this brain tasking question, but if you have not found answer to it, you have not started to find what it means to live. And let me first share a few of my thoughts and some of the things that delivered me from my own predicament while I was locked up in the journey of finding my own it. You know, there was a place in the scripture that talks about, and when after 40 years, it came unto Moses to go and look for his brethren. So it is the beginning of the understanding of your life's purpose when you begin to see that life is meant to be lived and that life on its own is a gift. And that nothing happens without life. And that we cannot live, you and I cannot exist without life. You cannot do anything without life. And so it is the platform upon everything stands. If you understand that life is the essence of why you and I are here, and there's nothing you and I can do without life, then we need to understand why and what is the purpose of life. And one of the major things that will help us to identify what is purpose of life is the ability for us to understand. If you say something is living, what are the qualities that you can name? You know, life come from the root word living, from living. So I want us to go back down memory lane for those of us that remember the subject of biology. And we were taught something then about the characteristics of living things. And because every living thing, according to what we are taught then, they have the ability to move. It means there is capacity for growth. Living thing can eat, they can feed, nutrition. They can reproduce through the production, talking about giving birth. Talking about, sensitive. They can respond to stimulus. And they have ability to do meaningful activities. These are all ingredients that makes and differentiates a living from the dead. And it will amaze you that when we talk about the subject of life and death, there's so many people that we can term as living corpse. Because so far, so good, regardless of the number of years they have lived on it, they have not been able to come into the intangible form of what their life supposed to be, the totality and the sum total of what they're supposed to be committed to. And when you commit to learning this subject and this area that I've just given, it's going to make you to commit to seeing the life inside of you that needs to be birthed to be born. And you will begin to see why you cannot continuously define your life as done, because you have just be able to do something like, maybe you've just been able to discover what have you. I want you to do this because a successful life will always want to produce. That is number one thing I want to leave you to. If you're a living thing and you want to remain a living component on this life, one of the purpose that life gives to you is you must give birth. You must grow. You must reproduce. And how can you reproduce when you don't know what is inside of you? I talked about software that time. So when you look at your phone, and your phone, there are some things that have been installed in that phone. Let's say you have an Android phone. An Android phone can check time. An Android phone you can use to receive call. You can use your Android phone. You can use to record yourself, just like I am doing now. You can record yourself. You can use an Android phone, to do a video call. You can use an Android phone. You can use it to do so many things. You can download applications that can help you do a lot. You can read a book on it. You can watch video. You can go on different applications that can. Do you know what? That is how God made you. That when God put you in the garden in the first day that He created you, there was a garden that was put inside of you that God asked you to tend. And if you don't know what you are meant to tend, then you will not be able to bring about anything material, anything successful in your life. And that is why the purpose of life is to be lived according to His specification. That when you and I want to claim that we have lived life purposefully, truly, the first thing that we're going to check is to see if you have lived your life according to specification. And when I talk about the specification, one of the things that I want you to know about that specification is the fact that you are able to do certain things that every other thing different to you will not be able to do. Look at a pressing iron. If you like to press your clothes, like look at this top I'm wearing. Let's say I just finished laundry and it's looking wrinkled. The purpose of that pressing iron is to do what? To help me make sure that every part of the clothes looks good and looks presentable in my body when I put it on. And so, in the same vein, there are certain things that your life must perform that will show us that your life is actually fulfilling the purpose why it is saying. And that is why I mentioned reproduction. So, and I want you to know that if you don't reproduce and you are not giving birth, you are not bringing forth out of what is inside of you, then it's useless. The same with that phone. The same with that phone that have the opportunity to take me to anywhere on the application because there is data and because there is everything inside of it, and yet I'm not able to use it. So we are brought here, you and I, to make our world a better place, to use every gift and every talent that God has put inside of us to bring about something different. And if you're unable to do that, you have to be checking. Maybe you have been distracted. Maybe you have been limiting what God has put inside of you, and you have been commonizing it and be taking it to be nothing. And you are looking at other people's gifts and talents, and you are saying, "Oh, look at so and so. Look at all the things that he's doing with his life." You did not know that your own assignment on earth, is different from his. And if you can only focus, you can only put everything inside of you and every energy and every intentionality to pay the price, to look inward, to search, and to unwrap what has been given inside of you, you will not have any hard time to even be looking at somebody else's life. You will be so busy deploying that gift, so busy refining it, so busy pruning it and sharpening it, so that when you come out to your world, your life becomes a pleasure. It becomes so pleasing that everybody wants to have a bite and a taste of what your fruit is giving. And that is why until you learn how to discover and you deploy your gift and benefit and talent to the use and benefit of the world, you have filled God. And that is why I want to call out everyone listening to me, every man, every woman, every boy, every girl, regardless of your religious upbringing, regardless of wherever you have come, regardless of your race. God has made it that the world will not be complete until you fulfill that part of your assignment so that the world can be complete. And so every time you fail to put in your own quota in the bigger picture of the assignment that God has given us, you are robbing the world, you are robbing humanity, and you are of contributing immensely to the progress and the advancement of mankind. And so I want to encourage you today, as I take you to the next, to the next episode in this course, I want you to make up your mind and to come up terms that you are here to tend a garden. And until you discover that garden, there is no going anywhere until you deploy your gift. And that is why you must never stop learning. And so I have been able to share with you the purpose of life. And that there's the other arm of it, which is the life of purpose. And I tell you that when you know the purpose of life, the next thing you want to begin to focus yourself on is to make up your mind to live life purposefully, to live life with utmost intentionality. That when you finish, and that is talking about a life of purpose, it's a life that is intentional, a life that is visionary, a life that is full of primary reason, that is consumed of always wanting to remain in alignment with everything that pertains to the assignment that God, your maker, has given to you. So, and I want you to look at your family, your upbringing, your background, and everything that surrounds you. Every one of them have a place in the whole picture of the future you are supposed to manifest. And it starts by your ability to be able to see it. So, what are the secrets to you becoming a legacy? Look at world leaders, Oprah Winfrey, Tony Robbins, Nelson Mandela, Abraham Lincoln, every amazing people that can come to your mind. The secret to every amazing thing they were able to do, or even those people that are long gone that are still alive or living, is because they took a decision to come to a point in their life where they're able to practice solitude, a moment where they're able to meditate and connect with their inner spirit, to have a space where they are able to shut out every noise and the many distractions that is speaking to their head, that is not letting them to hear the voice that is in their heart. And so too many people are distracted out of the real main thing, the main thing. And I want to tell you that the fact that you are not hearing does not mean there is no speaking. The fact you are not hearing is a testament to the fact that there are so many distractions that are blocking your ears from hearing the voice. And one of the first things you can do for us is to get yourself in a secret place where you can shut out yourself away from those noise. And it starts by going through solitude, And in that space of solitude is a place of self-discovery, because you will begin to learn more about yourself. And it's not a day practice. It is not just a one-time event. It's a daily event that you must look for how to surround those events with different form of routine that will take you close to getting to really know more about yourself until you are able to say, this is it. And when you get it, you can't be talked out of it. And you will not even be able to live anything less than it, because it's going to form a hunger inside of you that is going to motivate and bring you every day to automatically want to seek to live and excel in that space and to do away with anything that is going to distract you away from living life the way you want it. And I just want to share with you some of these questions that can help you to appreciate what are those ways, what are the ways and what are the methods, that you can use to perfectly understand how and what your purpose is. And some of these questions I'm going to be reading out to you. I want you to make sure that you don't overthink it. Don't overthink. Because if you overthink, you're going to get distracted. And from you getting distracted, you will discover that you are not able to do justice to the question. And let me just say, when you look at yourself, where do you feel the happiest? These are some of the questions that you can use to uncover your passion and purpose in life. So if you want to discover your purpose in life or your passion, and you want to come up from how you can make sense of your life purpose and vision, it starts with self-discovery. And how you can discover that is by asking some of these questions. When you ask these questions, they give you an idea how and where you want to go to. Number one, where do you feel the happiest? When you look at yourself, what are those things that when people just bring you around, you feel more happier? And I want to suggest that you want to begin to see yourself doing more of those activities. That is the first step. You must commit to doing more of those activities where you see yourself more and more happier. Number two, what idea or inspiration or vision keeps coming to you every now and then? I want you to look at yourself since you were born. What are those ideas that comes to you naturally? You're just seated, just find yourself in a space, and that is just it. Those are pointers to how you can uncover your purpose. Number three, what do you want to be known for? Like when you look at your life, imagine yourself sitting on a rocky chair and you are fast forwarding to age 90 and you look through your life decade by decade. What is that thing that you want people to know you for? I want you to document it. These are pointers. Then also, where do you feel the most authentic? Somebody like me, I love public speaking. I love just mixing and relating with people. And, when you know that place where you find yourself most authentic, what are you doing that time and who are you doing it with? And what was the subject? When you're able to see yourself, being able to identify the topic, identifying the type of people you are engaging with at the time, and you are feeling your most authentic, your most proud, and your most confident. These are pointers that will help you inspire yourself to begin to pursue those paths. And then next, who are the people that inspire you to the most? Who are those people? Who are the people that inspire you? That when you listen to them, there's something inside of you that's awakened. When you hear their voice, there's something that arises inside of you. When you see their picture, they take you beyond your room to somewhere yonder. Then you want to pay attention to those figures. So, what do you value most in other people? In those people, what are those things you value in them? And then when you talk about losing track of time, and it's not about you even being paid, you lose your time, you lose track of time, and you are so in tune in the task that you are given that you are not even bothered. And it's just like the kind of peace that just envelop you when you are doing that task. And I want you to know this is what differentiates job from work. When you are in a job, you are just there because they call it just over broke, JOB, and you're just there because of what you want to take just to go and meet the needs. But if you're in a work, you're in a place, you are living in your creative space where you're able to live creatively. That is the space where you don't get tired. You don't even remember what is it, the time. you don't even want to know what the time is. Now, if you knew you're going to die one day, one time, what will you start doing now that you want the world to remember you for? That is it. I want to stop there. Make sure you answer these questions, write them down. Don't do it by verbally. No answer. Take a pen it down, write it down. Remember, the first thing that comes to your mind without overthinking, without overanalyzing, without perfecting, that should be your guiding path towards this exercise. And once you read the first one and the answer is not coming fast, skip to the next one. Focus on answering those that you can within the time. And then you go back to those ones you're not able to answer. Then you're able to have more light. Yeah. I hope you're going to do this exercise. And please, I would love to have you share with me some of the answers you were able to get, because this is the beginning of the journey into you being able to make sense of your life purpose and vision. Join me in the next episode where I'll be sharing with you what to do after you are able to answer this. See you soon. Thank you.